We have, here's one for Paul. Who should be traded tonight?
Oh,
Baker, Debo, Jordan Love?
yeah. Paulie has he had a thought on this. That if you're, let's say, second round, third round, and you didn't get the quarterback you wanted up higher, that maybe you reach out to the Packers and say, I don't know, third round pick for Jordan Love, second round pick for Jordan Love. Would he be a better player to get than drafting somebody like Matt Corral? Yeah, Paulie.
Yeah, so like the Seattle Seahawks, because of that trade with Russ, they have the 40th and 41st pick in the draft. That's pretty high second-round picks. Why don't you take one of those, give a call to Green Bay, get Jordan Love, who was a first-round pick, at a value. You don't have to pay any of his signing bonus. You get him basically for 2 years for not very much money. And if you're Green Bay, are you just going to hold this guy and let him walk away someday when Aaron Rodgers plays 2 more years?
Yeah, I understand the philosophy. I'd be curious what kind of grades these teams still have on Jordan Love. But if you're going to draft a quarterback to sit behind a quarterback, you could trade for Jordan Love, who's already sat 2 years behind Aaron Rodgers. I get it. I don't know what he would cost you. And I don't know if Green Bay goes, no, we got too much time invested in him that we want to keep him, and he's cheap as a backup quarterback. Although, it's first-round money that you're giving him, but, it's going to be strange. His contract's going to be up probably by the time Aaron Rodgers decides to retire. And then what are you going to do? You're going to sign him up to that next contract, and he hasn't even played for you? Baker, I don't think, is traded tonight. I'm guessing after, and it might be after Saturday, that all of a sudden these teams go, okay, where do we stand on that position? And then maybe, he's traded. Debo, I just can't imagine they're going to trade him. I know he might be unhappy, but I would try to figure out how to make him happy. He probably is talking about relocating, wants to be closer to home in South Carolina. I understand that. If that's the case, then I'd reach out to the Falcons and say, hey, Debo Samuel's going to be available, and what would you give us? They have, the 4th overall pick? What are the Falcons? They have a pretty high pick there. And I think they're looking at a wide receiver as well. I was also told this last night. If anybody jumps up, that they're going after wide receivers. That you're probably not have anybody, very few teams would be trading up unless they're going to trade up to get a wide receiver. There's going to be a run on wide receivers. And it might be one right after another. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That might be your sweet spot for these wide receivers. Just something to keep an eye on. But, there's no general consensus this year of the top prospects. There's no Myles Garrett. There's no Trevor Lawrence there. There's a lot of uncertainty. And plus, the most coveted positions, usually the quarterback, we know who's the best quarterback. The wide receiver, we know who the best wide receiver. Corner, edge rusher. Sauce Gardner is great. And I thought he was going to be a top 10, maybe a top 5 pick. Now Derek Stingley coming out of nowhere. There are whispers right now. Detroit, not going to take him. Houston could take him at number 3. So this is what happens. Now you start to get, the smoke clears a little bit. Now you start to hear what teams, Kayvon Thibodeau, Detroit may take him at number 2 overall. They haven't even talked about him. And now they may take him, the defensive lineman out of Oregon. By the way, I saw an interview with him yesterday on the mothership. He's got personality and then some. He was entertaining. And that doesn't mean you're going to be a great player. Johnny Manziel had a decent personality too. But Kayvon Thibodeau sounds like he's ready for this. But is he going to go to Detroit 2nd overall? And also you'll get a coach who wants something, a GM who wants something, and then in some cases, like the Browns or the Cowboys, the owner wants something. And that's when they screw things up. But trying to accurately predict a mock draft, good luck, because there is uncertainty. There's not marquee names, but there is that sort of wonder. I mean, this is spring training for football fans. We got a chance, The sun is out. We got a chance. The bad teams are relevant. Detroit's on the clock. Jacksonville's on the clock. Texans on the clock. Hey, all right, not realizing that there's a reason why you're up there at the top.
Every year.
You're not very good. Yes, Marv.
My favorite part about the draft is when the team announces who they drafted and they don't know who it is, but they've heard good things and they're like,
Oh.
oh okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right. They're high-fiving each other.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah. Yes, Paulie.
I was watching back to that draft 30 for 30, the 83 draft, was it from Elway to Marino?
Yeah.
And Pete Rozelle was the commissioner at the time. Yeah. He had an unbelievable ability to deliver the draft pick in a way that built tension. It was like Ryan Seacrest. He goes, with the 13th pick, the New England Patriots take quarterback Tony Eason out of Illinois. He did a purposeful pause, and I really think he was like a showman. And I don't know if our commissioner does that now, but like it's really interesting when there's just that hair of the pause where you're like, what's going to happen next?
That was the first draft I covered.
That's in New York, right?
Yes, but it didn't have anywhere near that was the Marriott Marquis. There was no fanfare. I just remember that you go to it and then they announce the name. I don't even know how many players were there at the time. It was just completely different, and that's, the greatest quarterback draft of all time.